أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم وفقنا وسائر المشتغلين للعلم والعمل الصالح بحق محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not betray the one who betrays you, lest you be like him." قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: لا تخن من خانك فتكون مثله. لا تخن من خانك فتكون مثله. With Islamic laws, we reach to issue number 873. Recommendable things. In Salah there are some recommendable things. For example, a number of things are mustahab for the dress of a person who offers prayer. Some of these are turban. It is recommended when you pray to wear turban. What does it mean recommended? It means if you pray with turban, your prayer, the charity of your prayer will be increased. I think 76 times with turban. Along with its final fold passed under the chin. Now we have what? We have the final fold. If we open it and we put it here under the chin, this is a recommendable act. Losing garment on the shoulder, the abaya, put it on your shoulder. White dress, to wear white dress, and the cleanest dress. Use perfume, in salah, use perfume, and wearing an aqiq, agate, in salah. These things, it shows that you attend in front of a very important, in my mind, I say, in a very important person, to meet a very important person. You see, if you want to meet a king or a president or a prime minister, what you are going to do? You are going to choose the best clothes, the very nicest color, clean, and the smell, your smell, all of it, you are going to choose it in a nice way. Why? Because in order to show that this person you are meeting, he is what? He is a very important person. So in Salah, we are meeting a very important one in all this universe. So we have to show this. By the way, if we did or if we do so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to write this, that whenever this mu'min, this believer came to meet me, he dressed well, he put a perfume, he wears turban, he wears abba. So when I will meet him, I will reward him for these things, to show highly respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Disapproved things. Certain items are makruh for the dress of one who prays. Issue number 874. To wear black without reason, it is what? It is makruh. Black, it is only not makruh if it is for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Otherwise, to wear black, it is makruh. For example, you say that I lost somebody. It's okay for a few days, but after it is makruh. It is makruh to wear black. In salah, it is also makruh to wear black. Dirty, it is makruh to wear dirty clothes. Or a tight dress. If the dress is tight on your body, it is also what? It is also makruh. Or to put on a dress of a person who is a drunkard. La samahullah, if my friend, if my brother, he is a drunkard, and I took his clothes and I wear it, it is makruh. He said, but it is clean. I said, yeah, but it is makruh. It is not haram, but it is makruh. Or of one who is, or to put a dress of one who is careless about najasah. To put a dress of somebody who does not care about najasah. It is makruh. It is makruh. Similarly, also it is makruh, the same hukum, to wear a dress which has images. Pay attention to this. Images printed or drawn on it to keep the... It is makruh to wear t-shirt, to wear a trouser, to wear a garment with what? With some pictures on it. It is makruh. To keep the buttons on, or to keep what? The buttons on. It is what? It is makruh. In salah, you have to tighten all the buttons. To wear a ring which has images engraved on it. A ring, but what it has images engraved, mahfura, on it. It is what? It is makruh. Some people, they wear such rings and there is no agate on it, but there is what? There are some pictures engraved on it. It is makruh to wear such a ring. Put these things on your mind. There are 7 conditions for the place where one should offer prayer. Now we're talking about the places where we should offer our prayer there. Issue number 875. The first condition. Now what are the conditions? What are the conditions on the place where we are going to offer our prayer there? The place where the prayer is offered should be mubah. First thing is, this place should be mubah, not usurped, not maghsoob. It is allowed to pray there. If person prays on a usurped property, then as an obligatory precaution, his prayer is void. As obligatory precaution, his prayer is what? Is void. Even if he prays with what? With gestures. Not moving up and down, not making ruku', not doing prostration. Just what? Just by gestures, by his head or by his eyes. As an obligatory precaution, since he is praying in a usurped land or property, his prayer is what? Is void. Also, if he prays on a carpet, a usurped carpet, also his salah is what? Is void. Or a couch, a usurped couch, also his salah is what? Void. Or similar objects, any object, anything which is not belong to you, and you know that person, he does not accept you to pray on it, your salah is what? Your salah is void. However, there is no harm in offering prayer under a usurped roof or a usurped tent. Now, there is a roof. It is not belong to me. It is belong to somebody who does not accept that I'm going to pray under it. But don't forget that the land is not usurped. Only what? For example, the shadow. Only the shadow. I pray under the roof. And this roof it's not belong to me. It is a usurped. Is it allowed? Yes, it is allowed. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Or a usurped tent. Yes, Sheikh. Even if he prays with gestures, also if he prays on a carpet, also it means the same hukum, that his salah is what? Void. If he prays on a usurped carpet, or a usurped couch, or a usurped similar object. So if it is not usurped, why it is void? No, he is not saying, Shaykhana, he is not saying that you have the carpet and you put it on the land. All the act, pay attention to me, all the act you are using in a usurped land will be void. I mean worship act. Even if you bring what? Your carpet, your own carpet, and put it in a usurped land, your salah is void. Your salah is void. We finished this. Now, how about a usurped carpet? A usurped carpet, or a usurped couch, or a usurped hasira? All of them, if I prayed on them, my salah is what? Is void. However, there is no harm in offering prayer under a usurped roof of a usurped tent. Prayers offered in a property whose use and benefit belongs to someone else will be void. Look, prayers offered in a property whose use and benefit belongs to someone else will be void unless permission is taken from the entitled person. How that? For example, we have a land which is belong to non-adult kid, and this non-baligh kid, he has what? He has his uncle who is taking care about him, or he has somebody is taking care about him. In this case, if I prayed without the permission of him, the person who is taking care of this non-baligh kid, that means my salah will be what? Will be void. So I need to have permission. For example, if a house has been rented out, this house has been rented out, and the owner of the house or anyone else offers a prayer in that house without permission of the tenant, then as a measure of precaution, his prayer is what? Is void. So he has to take permission. And if a person made a will before his death that 1/3 of his estate should be used for a particular cause, prayer cannot be offered in that property until that 1/3 has been dispensed with. And this case happens too many nowadays. When the father dies, here we have what? We have the sons and daughters. The heirs, sons and daughters, okay? Maybe one of them or two of them, they stay where? In the house, while the rest were outside the house. This one brother or one sister who stayed in the house, their prayer is what? Why? Because he needs the permission of the other heirs. The permission is very important. Look, some people, they stay for 10, 20, maybe more years in that house without taking the permission of his brothers and sisters, and they don't agree. They want their share. But he said, no, I'm not going to sell it. I cannot move from this house. So the result is your salah is void. Your salah is void. Why? Because this house, it is not all of it for you. He said, okay, I'll only pray in this room, which is in my share. We are saying, still this room and the other area of this property is not what? Is not separated to the other people. So in each point, in each millimeter in this land, it is belong to whom? It is belong to everybody. It is belong to everybody. So you have to be careful. Anyhow, issue number 876. If a person sitting in a masjid is made to quit his place by someone who then occupies his place, the prayer offered there will be valid. Why? We saw some people, they said that your salah is void because you have taken my place. No, the land is not belong to you, and you allow me, or I need your permission to pray in this part. So my salah is what? Is valid, not void. If a person sitting in a masjid is made to quit his place, and someone who then occupies his place, the prayer offered there will be valid. Will be valid, though he will have committed a sin. He committed a sin. Why? Because this person, for example, he put his beads, he put his turba, he put his sajjada in that place. Okay, and he went to make ablution, to renew his ablution. And somebody other came and took this place and he started to pray. The other one, the first one, said, why you came and prayed here? This is my place. Your salah is batil. How? How it comes your salah is batil? This is not right hukum. His salah is what? Is valid. Yes, he committed a sin because he does not take a permission from you, but his salah is what? Is valid, not void. Yes, Sheikh Faiz.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam.
How about the saying, Al-waqfu liman sabaq? Can you explain, please? Al-waqfu liman sabaq.
Al-waqfu?
Liman sabaq.
No. Here, if I came and you came, okay, and there is only one place to pray. For example, in the first line, which has the charity, good charity. And I made my steps wider than yours. Then I took place first. So I have to take that place. If you said, how it comes, we came together, I have to take share with you. I said, no, I came before you. I have it right now.
Okay, so if I go to do something, for example, like wudu and come back.
If you go somewhere to renew your wudu, and I came to what? To pray. Now the discussion here, is my prayer void or valid? The hukum is my prayer is what? Is valid. Why? Because I didn't pray in a usurped place. Really, it is not a usurped place. But I committed what? I committed a sin. I committed a sin because I occupy your place without your permission. That's it. But my prayer is not affected.
So the idea is not about validating or invalidating. The idea is about committing a sin.
About the place.
Yeah.
The place. Is the place mubah or usurped? This is the idea. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Issue number 877. If a person does not know or forgets that a place is a usurped one and offers a prayer on it, look, either he doesn't know that this place is usurped, or he forgets that this place is what is usurped, and he prayed on it and learns or remembers it after offering a prayer, his prayer is what? Is in order. His prayer is generally? No, not generally. If he was not the usurper himself. If he was not the usurper himself. Why? Because he forgot that this house is usurped, or he does not know whether this house is usurped or not. So he performs his prayer. After the prayer, he realizes that this house or this land is what? Is usurped. Now he's asking, how about my prayer? Is it void or valid? The hukum is your prayer is what? Is valid. Unless that you are the usurper yourself. Let's continue. And learns or remembers it after offering a prayer, his prayer is in order. However, if a person usurped a place himself but forgets that he usurped this earth or this land and offers a prayer there, his prayer is what? Is void. Why? Because he is the usurper himself. He is the usurper himself. Whether he forgets, whether he maybe does not know, and he prayed there, his prayer is what? Is void. Why? Because he is the usurper. He is the usurper. Issue number 878. If a person knows that a certain place is usurped, just like what happened here in Karbala during the old regime, some of the houses of the people whom they kicked them out of Iraq to Iran, their houses becomes what? Usurped. If a person knows that a certain place is usurped, but does not know the rule that prayer at a usurped place is void, and offers a prayer there, his prayer is what? Is void. This person, he knows that this land is what, or this house is what? Is usurped, maghsoob. But he does not know that praying in a usurped house, in a usurped property, is what? Is void. So he prayed. Now, what is the hukum of his prayer? The hukum of his prayer is what? Is void. Is void. Issue number 879. Yeah, do you have a question, Sheikh Sajjad? No question. Good. If a person is obliged to offer obligatory prayer while riding, he is obliged to what? To offer his prayer. And if the animal of his riding or its saddle, السرج مالته, or straps are usurped ones أو شنو إما السرج نفسه أو الأحزمة هاي الأحزمة مالته straps are usurped ones, his prayer is void. Not the horse is usurped. No, the saddle or the straps. His salah is void. And the same rule applies if he wishes to offer mustahab prayer while riding that animal. He said, I'm not going to pray my obligatory prayers. واجبة ما أصليها. It is only the recommended prayers. Also, your salah is what? Your salah is void. Issue number 880. If a person owns a property in a partnership, he has a partnership with him, with another person, and his share is not defined. For example, 50-50. But which 50 is yours and which 50 is mine does not mentioned. Alright? With another person and his share is not defined, he cannot use the property to offer a prayer without the consent of his partner, without the permission of his partner. He should have the permission from his partner to pray in that property, even if he has 50%, but his part, his share is not defined. Issue number 881. If a person purchases a property, he buys a property with the sum of money which khums has not been paid by him. This is important. Really, this is important. So, this person, he purchased a property, but the money, the sum that he paid is not, khums is not paid from. So he buys this land with money, there is, khums is not paid off. Money from which khums has not been paid by him. His use of that property is haram. His property or his use to that property is haram. And the prayer which he offers in it is void. I think we explained before that if I prayed in this dishdasha and I bought this dishdasha with some which I didn't pay khums from it, my salah is what? Is void. The same thing for the land, for the property. Somebody buys a house, but he didn't pay khums for the money of that house. So his salah is void.
Sheikh,
Yes, Sheikhna.
if I didn't pay khums and my family do prayer, so all my family, their prayer is void?
Sheikhna, we said that this land is usurped land, or this property is a usurped property. So if you prayed in a usurped property in ard makhsuba, that means your salah is what? Is void.
I mean, the dresses also, not only the land.
If we have the issue before it, if I know this land is usurped or they didn't pay khums from it, so my salah is batil.
And my family also?
Yes, if they knew. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheikh.
You are welcome. Issue number 882. If the owner gives a verbal consent, موافقة شفوية, for offering a prayer in his property, but it is known that he is not happy about it at heart. He just the agreement by what? By his tongue, while by his heart is not accepting. Now, I'm working according to the verbal consent or according to the disagreement of his heart, let's say. Let's see. Then offering prayer in his property is what? Void. Conversely, if he does not give verbal permission, but it is known with certainty that he is happy about it. In his heart, I'm sure he is happy. But in his mouth, in his tongue, he said, no, I don't want you to pray in my property. This is the case. Then offering a prayer in his property will be in order. So what we need the heart agreement, the heart acceptance, not the verbal acceptance. Yes, Sheikh Faiz, you have the mic, please. Thank you.
Is it what we call al-fahwa? Al-muwafaqa bil-fahwa?
Yeah, the fahwa, it means I know what is in your heart.
Yeah, so I know that you do agree about my prayer, although that he didn't give a verbal consent.
Yes.
So it is in order.
Shaykhana, al-fahwa, it means I know your agreement. If I ask you, you will answer that, you will show me your agreement. But here we are talking about, we have two things. The first thing is the verbal consent, and the other thing is what? Is the heart. If there is a verbal consent, but there is no agreement by heart, your salah is void. If there is agreement by your heart, but there is no verbal consent, also your salah is what? Is valid. What I concentrate on is the heart, the agreement of the heart.
Yeah, maybe this is kind of, let us say, exception, because we do know that Islam depends on what is
intention.
No, not the intention. I mean, what we call al-amal bil-zahir.
No, not in this case. Not in this case.
Majorly and generally.
Not in this case, because this is a worship act, and I have to be sure that there is agreement. Okay? Thank you. Yes, that's all for today. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum wal an'adu.